Government implements 12 months tax amnesty. We'll have details to this story and more in the national report.
My name is Jefferson Antoine.
With the details to the news for Monday, January 9th, I am Rikisha St. Louis. The government of Grenada moves ahead with plans to implement a modern tax system that is simple, equitable, and easy to administer, and one that will also provide taxpayers with the opportunity to begin on a clean slate. Tax arrears exceed $600 million, and this negatively impacts government revenue collection. When he presented the 2023 estimates of revenue and expenditure in December, Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Honorable Deacon Mitchell, said that effective January 2023, government will implement a 100% waiver of all interest and penalties for all arrears up to December 2021. During an interview with the Government Information Service, Deputy Comptroller at the Inland Revenue Division, Randy Boyk Cadet, explained what tax amnesty means and the taxes covered under the amnesty.
A tax amnesty is a program offered by the government that allows taxpayers to pay the principal amount on the tax without paying the interest and penalties. So government has decided to waive or to grant a waiver of the interest and penalties. So again, taxpayers are only responsible for paying the tax amount, which is the principal amount of the tax that is due, with the exception of the interest and penalties. All taxes have been settled by the IRD. I think we are with 8 or 9 different tax types. This amnesty is for each and every tax type. And property tax, value-added tax, corporate income tax, personal income tax, annual stamp tax, pay as you earn, each and every tax type.
Lorna Alexis, the Senior Tax Inspector with responsibility for collections and enforcement, says all Grenadians who owe the government stand to benefit from the tax amnesty, especially those who have incurred interest and penalties over the years. He said taxpayers should be mindful that the principal must go down to zero to have the interest and penalties waived.
You have property tax, for example, like as a straightforward tax. Let's say you owe $5,000 on 2015, and the tax is at $1,000, the penalty is $2, and then the interest is $2, right? So unless that $1,000, which is only tax, is not covered for that 2015 period, then we cannot clean that period. So that's what it means.
Taxpayers, Alexis says, can utilize the go.gov.gd portal to make payments if they so desire.
You can make payments online, so you don't necessarily need to come into the department to make payments. If you are aware of what your balances are, you have no query, you can pay on pay.gov.gd for your property tax only. If you are already signed up with tax e-services, you can also make payments there for other tax types. If you do not have any ability to pay online, you can come into the department, you pay by cash, you pay with check. It must be noted though for taxpayers that provided us or gave us bounce checks before. You will not be able to pay with a check, you would have to use a bank draft, or you can pay in cash. So that must be noted for taxpayers that did bounce checks before.
The tax amnesty will conclude on December 31st, 2023. Officials from the Marigot propagation station are optimistic that the spice replanting program will help Grenada regain its prestigious title, Isle of Spice, as they work toward making 100,000 spice plants available to the public by the end of this year. The spice replanting program is a priority area of the Ministry of Agriculture and Lands, Fisheries and Cooperatives for 2023. Alison Haynes, manager of the Marigot propagation station, is confident that the deadline for the program will be met.
We have started. Once the program was announced, we have started immediately the rollout of the propagation of the various spices. So we're going to focus on, traditionally Grenada is a spice producing country, so we're very happy that the the government took the decision to promote the production of spices.
The passage of Hurricane Ivan and the abandonment of lands has resulted in the loss of many of the island's spices. Haynes says the initiative will serve to establish new acreages, which will ultimately contribute to Grenada regaining its Isle of Spice title. She says the traditional nutmeg and cocoa plants will be propagated in increased numbers, along with other high-demand spices.
In terms of nutmeg, our target is 30,000 plants for this year, and cocoa, our target is to do well over 20,000 plants. We're also going to propagate things like some of the other traditional spices, and these spices, I believe, have a very good market internally here in the island, and a good external market. So things like clove, so we're going to be propagating, we're going to increase the numbers there. Things like cinnamon, crops like cinnamon, ginger, turmeric. We're going to propagate larger quantities of tonka bean, of sapot, etc. So these are some of the spices that we're going to be producing.
She explained some of the challenges the team has been faced with in retrieving the needed materials for propagation.
A lot of the planting material, the seeds, cuttings, etc. that we need to, sand material, that we need to propagate. The window for collecting this material passed way before the government announced the program. So whatever planting material is available, we took the opportunity, we got our teams out, and we were able to collect as much as we can for propagation purposes. We have started, like always, soil, medium preparation is a challenge for us. So we've started sourcing these material, the soil, the pen manual, the riverbed, and we're forging ahead so that we can successfully implement the SPICE project.
Continuing the news, Prime Minister Honorable Deacon Mitchell will this week hold a series of engagements with farmers and other stakeholders who conduct business or trade with the Marketing and National Importing Board (MNIB). The purpose of these engagements is to facilitate discussion on the state of the MNIB and to chart the way forward under the government's transformative agenda. The first will be held at the St. Andrew's Methodist School on Tuesday, 10th January at 5:30 p.m. and the second will take place at the St. John's Anglican School on Wednesday 11th at 5:30. This is the National Report. The news will continue after the break.
I think I've decided. I want this one.
Excuse me. I couldn't help but overhear your conversation. Can you tell me why it is you decided to purchase this fridge?
Sure, because it's a lot cheaper, looks good, and if I should say, does the same job as all the others.
I see. Can I show you something?
No problem.
See what the sign says? It said this appliance uses natural refrigerants.
So...
This refrigerator uses green cooling technology with natural refrigerants, which is environmentally friendly and does not hamper to the environment and the ozone layer. Equipments like these will greatly reduce your electricity bill, last longer, perform better, and protect the environment, and will give you the peace of mind in knowing that you will do your part in creating a more environmentally responsible world for current and future generations.
So you're telling me that this fridge right here may cost a little more now, but I can save on my electricity bill? It will perform better and last longer than this other one and have all the things you just said?
Oh yeah.
Remember, when purchasing an AC or refrigerator for your home or business, be sure to ask for the one that uses natural refrigerants. Go green.
Let's beware, let's beware. Cooling, going green, you hear? So the ozone layer won't disappear. So let's go green, using natural refrigerants. Let's go green.
Welcome back. Social worker in the Ministry of Social and Community Development attached to the Desk of the Elderly, Chikal Courtney, calls on family members or senior citizens who are nearing the age of 100 to contact the desk to have the birthday recorded. The ministry is working to update its centenarian records for 2023. Courtney said relatives or caregivers can contact the Desk of the Elderly at least 3 months before the celebration. For years, the Ministry of Social Development has been visiting and presenting gifts to centenarians as a token of appreciation for their contribution.
What we have realized is that persons are celebrating that great milestone, and the ministry and the unit is not aware of such. So we're kindly asking persons to please let us know at least 3 months in advance, so that we can make the requisite arrangements so that we can recognize the centenarians. It's a great achievement, and we would like to do it officially on behalf of the ministry and the government of Grenada. Presently, we have on record 22 centenarians on our records, but we are sure that there are more persons out there who have achieved that milestone. So we're kindly asking for the general public to please inform us. Our number is 440-6037. Our email address is seniornewsletter@gmail.com.
He explained that once the Desk of the Elderly is notified in time, the celebrant can receive birthday greetings from His Majesty the King.
We would visit on the birthday, and we would give a basket and bouquet of flowers. Also, if we are notified in advance, that's why we're asking for 3 months in advance, the information is sent to the Governor General's office, and the Governor General will get greetings from King Charles, His Majesty, so that we get an official card from the King of England.
Finally in the news, the Subway-sponsored secondary schools basketball tournament is back on the sporting calendar. 7 female teams and 12 male teams will participate in the 2023 tournament, which shoots off on Wednesday, 11th January. Matches will be contested at 3 hard courts, the Carriacou, Guave, and Grenville. Senior basketball coach in the Ministry of Sports, Anthony Benjamin, says this year's tournament will run slightly different from previous years.
This year's competition is going to be a little different to the normal, where we have 2 zones and everybody in the zone play round robin. But this year what we're going to do, we will be grouping the teams because we have a late start. We start in January and usually we start in November. So we're going to group both the male and female teams, and from the groupings, they're going to play each other in the group, and the top 2 from each group is going to emerge into a knockout phase. This competition is expected to run from January 11th to February 6th.
Benjamin gave special commendation to Subway for its continued support in sponsoring the secondary schools tournament.
The Subway Secondary Schools Basketball Championship, I think, is probably the only competition that is run by the ministry, but is fully sponsored. The ministry doesn't have to give any financial contribution. Subway takes care of all the transportation, the prizes, and everything like that. So thank you to Subway, and thank you to the Ministry of Sports for another year coming out of COVID where we can look forward to some exciting basketball.
Happy Hill Secondary School is the defending champion in the female division and the Grenada Boys Secondary School in the male division. That story just ended the national report for Monday, January 9th, recapping the top story. Government implements 12-month tax amnesty. On behalf of the entire news and production team, I am Rikisha St. Louis saying thank you for joining us.